First at noon, Maui fire crews continue to battle a brush fire in Paia that has caused power outages and forced the closure of one school. At last check, the blaze was still 50% contained with no forward progress overnight. It's burned about 380 acres since it started yesterday afternoon at around 1:30. Homes nearby were evacuated for about 4 hours shortly after, but that order was lifted yesterday. We're told no structures are threatened at this time. Crews overnight stayed on scene, monitoring the perimeter and watching for large flare-ups. Now, Paia Elementary School is closed for the day, as MFD has requested the campus keep power off while they continue to fight the fire. Hawaiian Electric says customers should plan for an extended outage with an estimated restoration time of 5 p.m. More now on that fatal crash on Oahu's North Shore. This is now the third traffic death and as many days on the island. Casey Lund has more from the scene.
Aloha, tragic morning here on Joseph P. Leong Highway. I'm going to step out here and show you what we can of that crash scene. HPD has asked us to step a pretty far ways back. We're about a quarter mile or so away from that crash, and you can see down there beyond that officer speaking with the gentleman, there is a white, what looks like a utility work truck with some kind of a flat bed on it that apparently, again, this is just from what I've seen. We haven't gotten a lot of details from the Honolulu Police Department as they're still working this investigation. But it looks like from what we saw as we were kind of walking through here that it collided with a vehicle that you cannot see. On the other side of that would look like a mid-sized pickup, possibly a blue, maybe a Nissan from what I saw as I was walking down in the brush there trying to get a look at this. Again, HPD came by and respectfully asked us to move a good distance away as they're still recreating that scene and seeing what happened. But I will walk you through the details that we have so far. This is just after 6 o'clock this morning. Those emergency crews were called to the scene of this crash, and it looks like from what we've heard from folks that drove by it, a head-on crash. But again, we are working to confirm those details with HPD traffic investigators. We know that a 21-year-old man was pronounced dead at the scene. A 58-year-old man also hurt. He told EMS that he didn't need additional care. That really caused some problems earlier as just Joseph P. Leong Highway, of course, bypasses Haleiwa Town. Now, what folks were having to do is, of course, go through town, and that probably was pretty agonizingly slow for the high commute of the morning, the high traffic times. But we also know that things kind of calmed down, and as we were coming through Haleiwa, things weren't too bad. And I just want to give you an idea again, as we kind of zoom out on the scene a little bit, and you see that white Toyota, you may see that white Toyota as we zoom out. That's not involved. It may be some loved one, unfortunately, or somebody that police let drive up to the scene afterwards as we were here. But that bridge that they're on, that overpass, below that is Kane Hall Road that kind of starts in the middle of Haleiwa Town and goes under Joseph P. Leong Highway. So certainly a tragic morning here as we learned again that 56-year-old male injured or had some minor injuries, refused treatment here. 58-year-old male, excuse me. And then that 21-year-old male pronounced dead at the scene. And of course, we'll be keeping you updated. This is a really high number of traffic fatalities this year on Oahu. HPD making a concerted effort to try to curb those by getting messaging out about wearing seatbelts, not driving distracted, not driving impaired. But we continue to see these fatal accidents. We had another one over the weekend. Again, a reminder for everyone to drive with aloha and be safe out here on our roadways. We'll send things back into the studio for now.
Thank you, Case. Loved ones of a woman killed in a hit-and-run crash in Kalihi Monday night are praying for justice. Police say 58-year-old Cynthia Bagoyo was in a crosswalk on North School Street when she was struck by a driver who had turned left from Kokea Street. The man then drove off. Bagoyo's siblings say she was returning home from her longtime job at a downtown Subway shop. The family is overwhelmed with grief.
I hope it has justice for her, for this happened, because, you know, she don't deserve that. She don't, because, you know, she's so kind to everybody.
Police did not share a description of the vehicle or the man that drove off. Report any tips to HPD's traffic division at the number on your screen. To national news, Homeland Security says a gunman shot 3 detainees at an ICE facility in Dallas, Texas, before taking his own life. At least one of the victims has died. The FBI called it a targeted attack against ICE. Officials say the gunman armed with a rifle opened fire on the center from a rooftop across the street. This is the third attack at a Texas immigration facility in the past few months. There were 2 others in July. Police were injured in both. 1 week out from a potential government shutdown, and the people responsible for striking a deal to keep it open say the talks are now off. Erica Brown has more from Capitol Hill.
The threat of a government shutdown is looming after President Trump canceled a meeting with congressional Democratic leaders originally planned for Thursday. The president wrote on social media that after reviewing demands from Democrats, I have decided that no meeting with their congressional leaders could possibly be productive. Democrats fired back, accusing Trump of running away from negotiations to avert a shutdown.
Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the presidency. It's clear they have decided to shut the government down.
House Republicans proposed a short-term funding extension with millions for enhanced security measures for lawmakers, the judiciary, and executive branch in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination.
This is the same budget that the Democrats approved 6 months ago, just adjusted for inflation. And unfortunately, all of a sudden now, they want to shut down the government.
Last week, the House GOP plan failed in the Senate, along with an alternative proposal from Senate Democrats.
Republican leaders canceled votes in Washington, D.C. that were scheduled to take place next Monday and Tuesday on the eve of the government shutdown.
Democrats want to extend Affordable Care Act subsidies set to expire at the end of the year.
Donald Trump, you're not a king. You're not a king. The way this country works, you got to sit down with people you may not agree with and come to an agreement, come to a negotiation.
The Democrats' requests are completely unhinged and unreasonable and unserious.
Lawmakers adjourned last week, and House Speaker Mike Johnson says there are no plans for the House to return before the October 1st deadline. Erica Brown, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Jimmy Kimmel is back nearly a week after Disney suspended him, but he was still off the air in dozens of cities where ABC affiliates refused to run the show. Jonathan Vigliotti is in Hollywood with the details.
Greeted by chants and a lengthy standing ovation, it was a triumphant return for late-night host Jimmy Kimmel.
I'm happy to be here tonight with you.
An emotional Kimmel took the stage for the first time since his nearly week-long suspension following comments he made about the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk.
That it was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man. I don't think there's anything funny about it.
In his monologue, Kimmel took aim at his critics, saying he felt lucky to live in a country where he could speak freely.
This show is not important. What is important is that we get to live in a country that allows us to have a show like this.
He thanked supporters, including Democrats and Republicans, who united against efforts to censor the comedian.
It takes courage for them to speak out against this administration, and they did, and they deserve credit for it, and thanks.
2 major station groups, Sinclair and Nexstar, said they would not air Kimmel's program on Tuesday. They represent about a quarter of ABC affiliates. Kimmel also slammed FCC Chairman Brendan Carr over his apparent threats to scrutinize ABC because of his show.
In addition to being a direct violation of the First Amendment, is not a particularly intelligent threat to make in public.
He really came out tonight and set a tone that was respectful, a little apologetic, but as irreverent as ever, because that's who Kimmel is.
Entertainment Tonight host Kevin Frazier.
He was tested not only by the network, by the affiliates, but also people in this country who were questioning him. And he stood 2 feet deep in the sand and said, "Here I am."
Kimmel also had a little help from Robert De Niro, who channeled past roles to star as a new mafioso FCC chair.
Speech, it ain't free no more.
What? It's not free no more?
Yeah, we're charging by the word now.
And just before the show aired, President Trump weighed in online, writing, and I quote here, "I can't believe ABC fake news gave Jimmy Kimmel his job back." The White House was told by ABC that the show was canceled. The president then appeared to threaten another lawsuit against ABC, writing, "I think we're going to test ABC out on this." Jonathan Vigliotti, CBS News, Hollywood.
Here at home, H&N investigates allegations of a Red Hill cover-up. A former fuel director believes her whistleblower reports led to the criminal case. 2 men are facing federal charges tied to the tainted water disaster back in 2021. Mahealani Richardson has a look at the Navy's messaging after the spill.
Can you give us a number of how many people were disciplined, reassigned, or fired because of this water disaster?
There are a number of people who are no longer in their assigned duties.
3 years after H&N asked Admiral Samuel Poparo, commander of the U.S. Pacific Fleet, that question, 2 civilians are facing a federal trial. John Floyd and Nelson Wu worked at Red Hill and are accused by the government of lying in conspiracy, allegedly reporting to regulators that 1,600 gallons rather than 20,000 and spilled at the Navy's Red Hill fuel farm on May 6, 2021. They pleaded not guilty. That spill led to the tainted water disaster Thanksgiving weekend later that year.
Something didn't smell quite right. I had to just document.
Lieutenant Commander Shannon Bentz, who was Red Hill's fuel director, filed hundreds of whistleblower reports. She says even though she was interviewed by federal regulators, she was not called to testify before the grand jury.
I'd either become a whistleblower or potentially go to jail if I didn't report it, because I would be part of the crime because I saw something and didn't do anything about it. But at that same time, by doing the right thing, I knew my career was over.
On May 7, 2021, a day after the spill, a Navy Region Hawaii press release said approximately 1,000 gallons of fuel was released. Quote, "Our containment system functioned as designed to keep the fuel contained within our facility, with no indication that fuel was released to the environment," said Captain Gordy Meyer, commanding officer for Naval Facilities Engineering Command, Hawaii.
So when you saw that in an official press release, what was your reaction?
Oh, that was absurd. It was absolutely a gross miscalculation, and I had known that they had already doctored the records because they had doctored the control room reports.
And so you're saying that John Floyd did this with Nelson Wu?
Yeah, so I believe that was kind of the scheme of things. John had went to the commanding officer in the XO and basically ousted me.
Many are questioning if accountability will go beyond the 2 civilians. Board of Water Supply Manager and Chief Engineer Ernie Lau, who raised alarm for years, would not comment about the criminal case, but had this reaction after seeing the first public images from the May 2021 spill.
We've never been able to get access to all the information, so it doesn't surprise me.
The Navy sidelined Bentz before the November fuel leak disaster. She's been passed over for a promotion 3 times.
H&N Investigates contacted the Department of Justice for comment, and we are waiting to hear back.
Mahealani Richardson, Hawaii News Now.
And happy Wednesday, everybody. We're expecting a little bit of a shakeup in the weather pattern as we go into the back half of this work week. This disturbance that we've been tracking well to the north of the island chain is going to continue moving southward and give us a better chance for some showers and potentially even some heavy rainfall and maybe a few isolated thunderstorms over the western half of the state. So let's take a look at the first alert futurecast and what we're seeing. This is really a sign of the times that the seasons are starting to change. We're starting to see these systems getting a little bit closer to the island chain. You can see the moisture moving in late tonight for Kauai, and then it's going to be stalling around the western half of the state throughout Thursday and Friday, potentially bringing some heavy rainfall for Kauai. I'll give you a full breakdown of this and my full forecast coming up.
A decision by Hawaii's High Court means changes are coming for most criminal investigations.
Also ahead on This Is Now, have you seen this man? We'll tell you why Kauai police are looking for him. Hawaii, the search is underway for a missing Princeville man. Police are asking for the public's help in finding 37-year-old Kyle Barrett. He was last seen yesterday near the entrance to Queen's Bath at around 7:30 p.m. Barrett is 6 feet 4 inches tall, about 210 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. He was last seen wearing a white aloha shirt, dark-colored shorts, and sunglasses. If you've seen him, please call KPD. A state Supreme Court ruling on a case involving a drug confession will affect how Hawaii law enforcement agencies conduct interrogations. Chief Investigative Reporter Lynn Kwano polled each department about their current policy and what changes they are now making.
The ruling published last week mandates video and audio recordings when police are interrogating suspects who are under arrest.
A confession is a powerful piece of evidence, but if that in-station confession is not recorded with pictures and sound, it is no longer allowed in Hawaii.
It ensures that people are not wrongfully convicted based on false, inaccurate, misleading testimony by police officers.
The ruling stems from a 2021 drug case out of Kona. The police interview room was equipped with video recording equipment, but the camera was never turned on. The detective did not take notes either. But a week later, the report paraphrased and quoted the defendant, Charles Zufanti, who said at trial he was now being forced to testify to dispute the detective's version of the confession.
If an officer is not going to record a conversation and now becomes his word against the defendant's word, then you're kind of forcing that defendant not to remain silent anymore. You're making him or her get on a stand and say, I didn't tell him that.
The state high court said that recordings offer judges and juries better evidence compared to human memory. They're more reliable and help get to the truth. Both the American Civil Liberties Union Hawaii office and the Hawaii Innocence Project submitted arguments to the court ahead of the decision.
In this day and age, there is no excuse to not have some recording device at the police station. Outside of the police station, there's the feasibility standard, but the burden is on law enforcement to show that under the particular circumstances of a given situation, that the recording was not feasible.
In the field, body cameras or a phone can satisfy the requirement. H&N Investigates asked all the county police departments about their current policies and if changes were needed because of this. The Honolulu Police Department currently requires audio-only recordings for felony case interrogations unless it's a Class A felony. Then video is also required. Now, as a result of this ruling, the department is reviewing and revising procedures. The Kauai and Maui police departments already comply, requiring video and sound for all in-custody interrogations at the stations, and officers must use body cameras for those done in the field. A spokesperson for the Hawaii County Police Department says they do record, but it's not mandated. Given the court's decision, the department is adding it to their policy.
Also significant, the High Court made this retroactive, so some cases under appeal, even those still pending, could be affected. I'm Lynn Kawano, Hawaii News Now.
And stick around. Coming up after the break, we'll give you a breakdown of this storm that's developing to our north. A better chance for rainfall as we're going into Thursday, Friday, and early Saturday. The details coming up.
weather with Drew Davis.
All right, well, happy Wednesday, everybody. Of course, we are tracking a shakeup in the weather pattern over the next couple of days, and it all has to do with this storm that's developing to the north of us. This is going to continue moving southward over the next couple of days and give us a better chance for showers out there. Right now, the associated front with it looks like it's going to stall over the western half of the state, so a better chance for rainfall over Kauai and a scattered shower chance over on Oahu. So you can see the disturbance continues to move south over the next couple of days and then kind of sits there throughout Thursday and Friday. And let's take a look at the first alert futurecast again. I'm going to zoom out a little bit more than we typically do because I want to show you that storm that's to the north of us. You can see here's the front associated with the system. It's going to continue tracking further southward as we're going into Thursday. This is Thursday around midnight, so tomorrow morning. Still seeing showers, most of the heavy rainfall and thunderstorms just to the north and east of Kauai and Oahu, and then going forward throughout Thursday, that front just stalling over the western half of the state. So a better chance for showers. Even some of the heavier showers start to track a little bit further southward as the system moves back up towards the northwest. So a better chance for rainfall over the western half of the state over the next couple of days. Hopefully it'll be beneficial rainfall because we've got really bad drought developing across a lot of the state. Of course, the worst drought is over on Hawaii Island, where they're experiencing extreme drought. It's also going to make our winds fall apart. And you can see our first alert windcast. We've got breezy trades out there right now thanks to the high pressure off to the north and east of us. And then our first alert windcast you can see as we're going forward by Thursday morning, 11 a.m., we've got Kona winds. So it's going to be pretty humid going forward over the next couple of days, providing that moisture and instability in the atmosphere that will allow some of the thunderstorms and showers to develop well to the north of us. So this is Friday. We're still seeing breezy Kona winds introducing a lot of that humidity out there. Our island by island forecast, we're going to run through this really quickly. Over on Kauai for Thursday, showers are likely, mostly cloudy conditions. Less so of a chance for showers out here, maybe a few rumbles of thunder on Oahu, but again, the bulk of the rainfall looks to be well to the north of us. Maui County, scattered showers and partly sunny conditions, 88 in Kahului, 86 in Kihei, 87 in Kailua Kona, isolated showers. You'll notice as we keep going further eastward, there is a less of a chance for rainfall out there and scattered showers over the northern portions of Hawaii Island. Our surf and shoreline forecast, you can see relatively small out there, a little bit of a boost expected this Friday on south-facing shores. And here's our 7-day forecast. Thursday and Friday, we have highlighted in red for the better chance for, or we have showers out there for Thursday and Friday for the better chance for rainfall. Sunshine returns heading into the weekend.
Thank you, Drew. Still to come, what costumes are expected to be popular this Halloween? We have that story coming up in today's Good News Now. and I can't believe we're seeing this, but Halloween will be here before we know it.
Green tracksuits are in demand thanks to the popularity of the Netflix series Squid Games. Spirit Halloween just dropped its list of the hottest costumes for 2025. In addition to the Squid Games tracksuit, the frontman mask and the Young-hee dress are also big sellers this year. Wicked is casting a spell on costume choices this year, too. The classic black witch hat and sparkling crowns are selling fast as girls dress up as Glinda and Elphaba ahead of the release of the next movie. And Spider-Man might be well represented this Halloween again, as over 30 Spidey looks are swinging into Spirit stores this season, including Miles Morales, Spider-Girl, and the classic Spider-Man suit. I dressed up as Spider-Man last year for Halloween. I might have to do it again.
You do have Peter Parker vibes, too.
Oh, Peter Parker.
Yeah.
All right, all right.
Very cute. Well, thanks for watching. This is Now. More news first at 4 right here on KHNL.